All right, guys, today I'm going to be cooking frozen steak in the air fryer. I'm at home on the weekend, and I'm not feeling the greatest. I'm a little bit under the weather, and I forgot to take the steak out of the fridge to thaw. So, yep, rock solid steak. And I'm going to show you today how we cook it in the Ninja double stack air fryer. Now, I love this Ninja double stack air fryer, by the way. Now, if you've never heard of this, this is a double stack air fryer. It's got a basket on top, basket on bottom. It's got two different zones. It's absolutely freaking amazing. And yeah, we're gonna take it out and get the steak ready to go. And I'm gonna show you guys exactly how I do my frozen steak in the air fryer, because it comes out just absolutely amazing. First, I gotta get my steak separated. There we go, that wasn't too hard. Yay! Now, I normally cook 2 of these at a time because they are kind of thin. These are New York strips. They are definitely frozen. And we're just gonna bag this one up and save it for later. All right, so the first thing I do is I just take a little bit of this granulated garlic salt. It's made by Redmonds, Redmonds garlic salt. I just season one side pretty heavily. I don't worry about the bottom side, because as this cooks, the seasoning will cook into the meat and everything's gonna taste great. Put that in the air fryer. I'm gonna turn it on, hit this little #1 button for the top zone, click this for air fry. Temperature setting is gonna be 400 degrees. And since it's frozen, I'm gonna be doing 12 minutes on each side, and then I'm gonna flip. So being sick on the carnivore diet is kinda a whole lot more fun than being sick on any other diet that I've been on, especially the standard American diet, because man, I was always sick when I was eating pizza, cookies, cakes, just eating nonstop ice cream. And I always used to do the wrong thing. I'm sure most of you can relate to all the things that we got into when we were sick in our previous lifestyle of just eating whatever type food. You know, I would order a pizza, possibly go out and get fast food. I used to think that orange juice was the cure, a lot of extra vitamin C, but then I would add in a lot of high fructose corn syrup type drinks. Yeah, orange juice in itself just doesn't work, make you feel any better. And right now what I'm doing is I'm just opening a can of chicken broth. I'm gonna pour this into a coffee cup and heat it up, because I really think this is gonna help my current situation here. Pop that in the microwave for about a minute, 2 minutes, minute 30 seconds. I don't know, I'm sick. I'm just trying to feel better. So I got the chicken broth going. Something else I'm gonna get going here is a tall glass of water, and possibly take some vitamins to hopefully make myself feel just a little bit better. Let's see what vitamins I can come up with. All right, being sick isn't a perfect science, but the one nice thing about being sick on the carnivore diet is I'm still functional. I'm able to think. If I need to go to work, I can go to work. I had no problem yesterday working through this, and I was not feeling good. I was outside in the pouring rain all day. It just sucked. So here are the vitamins I'm gonna be taking, and this is really all I need when I don't feel good. Vitamin B1, that's one of them. Another one I'm gonna be taking is 1 tablet of zinc. Zinc is usually helpful, especially considering I don't eat a lot of organ meats. I only need 1 capsule, not 3. And the other thing I'm gonna be taking for possible leg cramps and other type digestive situations is going to be some magnesium glycinate. Magnesium glycinate so far has been one of the best vitamins to take if you're having leg cramps, especially on the carnivore diet, or any diet for that matter. I think magnesium glycinate is probably what we're missing the most, because I usually have the electrolytes covered at all times. Now, one thing I noticed yesterday when I was at work is I was having to go to the bathroom a lot more than normal. Sure felt like at times I was urinating about a gallon at a time, so that means I was probably retaining a little bit of water. And whatever sickness this is, if it's cold, maybe a little flu bug, it was just helping me process that water in my body and just get it out. Now, there's some good things about getting sick, even on the carnivore diet, because getting sick is a totally normal and natural thing. Because when we get sick, it actually helps boost our immune system, even though our immune system might be down. But with the previous lifestyle choices I used to make, with a lot of sugars and unhealthy things that I used to eat, processed foods and seed oils, I tended to get a lot sicker than I needed to be. And it seems like all the old type remedies that we used to use. Oh, what do they call those? Like feel-good type foods, or I can't think straight right now. My mind is a little bit foggy. I do have a little bit of inflammation going on up here in my sinuses. My nose has been draining, and I have been sneezing quite a bit, and there is a little bit of a cough. I was suffering from a severe sore throat yesterday, I believe. So yeah, let's go get that out of the microwave. This bone broth is going to help clear the airways. It's going to also give me a lot of vitamins and nutrients that I might be missing, and hopefully it's going to make my throat feel a little bit better. Oh, and it tastes delicious. Oh my goodness. Why haven't I been doing this before? Well, I guess it's probably because I haven't been really sick since I've been on the carnivore diet. In about the last year and a half, I have been sick. I just haven't been like I need to call into work sick. So since I started doing the carnivore diet, I don't think I've called into work once. Not once. Anybody else do this chicken broth thing when they're not feeling? This tastes absolutely amazing. It tastes like gold. I mean, it tastes like it has everything in it that I need. All right, we got the steak in the air fryer. It's still cooking. I started it for 12 minutes at 400 degrees. Now, the unique feature of the double stacked air fryer is it has these little metal baskets, little grates that go up right in the middle. It separates, the steak from the bottom of the basket, where typically in most traditional basket air fryers, you have to sit your steak down on this little Teflon grate. And I have those for that, but I don't use them. I just use those little metal grates. It keeps everything up off of the Teflon, so I'm not worried about that possible contamination. Now, the other nice features we're soon going to find out is that it really makes a really nice sear on the steak. Just because it is elevated, so that means the air can circulate under and over the top. So it's really getting a nice even char. And it's really hard to believe you can get a decent sear in an air fryer. I need to chug the rest of this because my throat's doing its thing and I'm about ready to sneeze. That's like heaven. That's so good. Okay, since I started the recording of this video, I drank a full glass of water, took some vitamins, I drank a full coffee mug full of bone broth, and now I have a steak. I need to get ready to flip it. Let's go. All right, when it clicks off, it goes into an automatic cool feature, which it cools down for approximately 30 seconds to a minute. We're gonna pull that out. This is what it looks like the first time around. We come over here, we grab some trusty tongs, because you always have to have tongs available. Let's see, grab a plate, get it ready. I just set the tongs down on the plate. But we're just gonna take this and we're gonna flip these over. No real rhyme or reason to this. But this is gonna look amazing when it's all said and done. And then we give the other side, now that it's nice and warm, a coating of garlic salt as well. I just love garlic salt. I don't know about you guys. Let me know what your favorite salt is on steak, but I do like a little bit of that garlic flavor. Now, another thing I use is Redmonds smoked salt once in a while. I just need to find the appropriate holes. And this is a bit of a coarse salt, so it doesn't look like there's much of anything going on there, but it does give a nice smoky flavor. All right, we're gonna take this, pop it back in the air fryer. Same procedure, we're gonna turn it on, pick the top zone, put air fry, set the temperature for 400 degrees, set the time for another 12 minutes. And if that looks good when it comes out, then that's exactly what we're gonna have. So last week when I went shopping at Costco, I was a little bit disappointed they didn't have the halal ribeye steak that I was looking for. So I got another type of meat that I normally don't get. They had a similar brand, in the same brand name, but it was called beef flap. It's different, it's good. It's got a lot of fat, connective tissue, but it's kind of like pieces of beef. And I thought it was more like a steak, but when you cut it up, it kind of comes apart in these little strips almost, but it's really good. And then the other thing I bought was that halal New York strip, which is what I'm cooking right now. And I just like that particular brand because it's cheaper per pound compared to the traditional Costco USDA choice ribeye or any other type meats that they have in USDA choice. So I prefer that brand, and when it does cook up, it does tend to be a lot more juicy and tender, I think. My family enjoys it quite a bit. That's why I'm constantly needing to buy more meat. Now, I know a lot of us are doing the carnivore diet, and we're trying to do the struggle with doing the carnivore diet around people and family members that aren't doing the carnivore diet. And I think the hardest part for me and others that are doing this is when we eat only the meat, regardless if it's eggs, burger patties, steaks, or ribeyes, or whatever you want to call it. We eat primarily only the meat, sometimes some cheeses and dairies. But the frustrating part is when everybody else in the house wants to eat all the meat, and then they run out and they want to get stuff like Taco Bell, they want to order pizza, they're hitting up Dairy Queen, they're getting a bunch of sugary stuff, and I have a hard time with this give and take of this without any arguments. So I have to guard my words really well when it comes to this type of lifestyle with my family, because they become extremely sensitive to a lot of the type of talk that I do, especially on this channel. You know, the last thing they want to hear anything about is food, even though that's probably the only thing they really need to be hearing about is the foods and what they're doing to themselves. Because I had no idea. I had nobody like myself to strangle me and grab me by the throat and say, hey, you're doing it wrong. You need to stop it, and this is why, and that's why. Because it's like a constant evolution of trying to figure stuff out. I've been doing it wrong for so many years. That's how I got to be 435 pounds in the first place. Now I'm starting to get a little sweaty because that chicken broth kind of warmed me up quite a bit, and I think that's what I need. I used to be 435 pounds, and yeah, I kind of need to do a little bit of recap once in a while. So sometimes I do go back through and I watch some of my old videos, and I come up with some interesting moments, you know, when I started YouTube. I'm going to provide a clip of that right here.
Hey man, I heard you're doing a patient review. Yeah, I'm getting ready to start recording here before getting into the review. Why? You're not a doctor? That's exactly why. Because I'm not a doctor, I don't have my hands tied by politics or red tape. Oh, so you're not bound by disclosure contracts. Yeah, right, again, I can be openly honest about my experience. I'm definitely interested now, so let's get started.
Chicken broth is just like making my sinuses come down. It's been pretty dramatic for the last few moments there, but I did grab my extra cup of coffee out of the microwave. We're gonna start working on that while the steak's getting done cooking. Another thing I did want to talk about is that, yeah, I've been doing it, you know, the carnivore diet primarily with a 90-10 eating principle for the last year and a half. It just simply works for me. That's just what works. It doesn't have to be the way you do it. I'm not worried about how you're doing it as long as you're having great success. That's the only thing I care about. If you want to do 100%, absolutely do 100% carnivore if you like, if it works for you. Some people have a lot harder time because of previous food addictions to things like pizza, ice cream, chocolate chip cookies. There you go. Those are my three big favorite things that I used to love to eat, and I have to eat those sparingly now. And it took me almost 2 years of learning how to do specific fasting practices and just what to eat, when to eat, how to eat. And it really took a while for me to get it figured out so I can actually enjoy some of those foods once in a while, but I don't overindulge in those type of things anymore. So the biggest factor to any success, especially when it comes to weight loss maintenance that I have, is that I eat an OMAD lifestyle, especially Monday through Friday. That's my normal work week. I eat OMAD every single day of the week. I don't bring anything to work for snacks, and if I do bring anything to work, it might be something as simple as a chomps or a think beef stick, and that's about it. And the rest of the stuff that I carry is just 3 bottles, 3 1-liter bottles. One has electrolytes, the other 2 just have plain water in it, and occasionally I might have some chewing gum. But like a lot of people that are suffering from addiction from food and suffering from previous addictions like nicotine addictions, I'm still suffering with nicotine addiction. So yeah, once in a while I might smoke some cigarettes, I might get into some vaping, or I might be using those nicotine pouches to curb those urges. But when I got up this morning and I got on the scale just for the fun of it, and I've completely given up on the scale for the most part. I just got on there for the fun of it today. I really didn't care what the number was going to say. I saw a number of 265.7, and that was a pretty good number for me considering doesn't mean I'm gaining or losing any weight. I've been stuck around this weight range now, seems like for months. So I've hit like a set point, and I thought since I was sick, I was actually going to see a much higher number, because usually when I'm sick or stressed out for any reason, and work's been really stressful lately, I thought, you know, for sure I was going to see like 270, maybe even higher than that, but there wasn't anything substantial that I saw. So I was kind of happy about getting on the scale today for the first time in a long time. And I think the problem is for a lot of people, they get to their set point and then they get frustrated, you know, because the weight's going to be bouncing 10 pounds, you know, either down 259 or up to 270, and it's just going to keep jumping back and forth, and it'll drive a person insane if that's your main focus, is like, oh, what the scale's doing. But the thing is I'm not 300 pounds anymore, so every day under 300 pounds is a blessing to me. So, I mean, I could go up to 280. It wouldn't bother me that much, just as long, I mean, I'd be crushed if I got back up over 300 pounds again, because now I know how to stay down below 300 pounds. And if I got up over 300 pounds again, that means I'm doing something drastically wrong and I'm not like progressing myself further. All right, let's hurry up with the steak already. I want to see it. All right, it says I got about approximately 2 minutes on the timer back there before the steaks pop out. I did want to talk about a couple things that I haven't covered yet that I have done in the last few weeks. I did go on 2 different camping trips, which is something I couldn't do when I was 435 pounds, let alone I wouldn't even attempt to, because I would have been so miserable. I had to plan my trips around where the restrooms were. So random camping trips wasn't going to be a thing. Now, the one best thing that I found about the carnivore diet is it cures your IBS symptoms in your stomach. So now I don't have to poop every single day. Like today, I didn't poop this morning just because I got busy. I was building another video. I was actually doing a review about this product right here, which is just a little portable camp stove. It's a tabletop stove. It's pretty interesting if you want to check out that video. It is uploaded to the channel. But yeah, we went camping. We had a good time. My wife went fishing. We both, you know, tried fishing a little bit. My wife's the better fisher lady than I am, so she caught a lot more fish. That's kind of what she does for a hobby. And right now she's down in Kenai with the family catching more fish, hopefully. And she's pretty much got the freezer already full of, you know, salmon. All right, so I can usually tell when this is almost done. Well, not besides the fact the timer is almost there, but you can hear the bubbling sound of the, you know, grease in the bottom. So this is what it looks like. Oh my gosh. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. Yum. Okay, we're gonna test this one out first. That is beautiful. Oh yeah. And this one, we're just gonna let it sit right here. It's gonna cool off and do its thing, and I'll come back to that if I get hungry later. Bring this on over to the table and get ready to eat something. Grab a fork, grab one of my awesome knives. Thank you, Chris Cooks in Nashville, for recommending these knives to me. These are absolutely amazing knives. Everybody should have them. Okay, before I get too much further, I need to take care of my air fryer, and that's gonna require me to get a paper towel and head on over here, because every time you use an air fryer, it's important to wipe it out when it's still warm. So we're going to start at the front, working side to side. We're going to get the walls, and then we're going to get the bottom right there. You see what it does? Gets all that out. And you want to get that out every single time so it doesn't work down into the inside of the machine. And you also want to give it a little touch up on top, because the top gets kind of gross too, huh? Okay, it's been about a minute or so. The steak's just been kind of hanging out and resting. We're going to cut into this. Now, usually like on a ribeye, you got a nice big fat chunk over here. I'll take that fat chunk and I'll just slice it up into smaller bites, kind of like that. And I might set that on the side. Sometimes one of my cats might bully me and I'll have to give up some fat to the cats, but that's okay. The cats have been great. They hunt all the mice that come into this old trailer home. But the key here is to make this fat small enough that it's enjoyable to eat. I don't like big, giant, rubbery chunks of fat. And I don't know many people that like the big, giant, rubbery pieces. But when I cut it up like that, that means I can eat it. You know, I can mix and match with a piece of meat, and it'll actually taste pretty good. So I'll cut me up a piece of steak just like that. And then I'll take a piece of fat like this. And then I'll just add it to that piece of steak right there. Oh my goodness. That is just what the body needs right there. That is so delicious. Yes, this is good. I'm really not a big fan of New York strip because it doesn't have a lot of the other interconnective type fat. So you have to eat all the exterior fat on the outside to get the amount of fat that I require. And I do notice the difference. If I don't eat enough fat in a day, I tend to feel pretty miserable. I don't have enough energy the next day if I don't get enough fat in my diet. That is a nice little crispy bite right there. Right off the end. It's got that nice subtle garlicky flavor from the garlic salt. That is a good bite. That's like eating a piece of bacon, but better. It's hard to believe there's something better than bacon out there. So I did a 30-day stretch of the carnivore diet while I was up in Nome, Alaska. And while I was up in Nome, Alaska, I saw that the meat prices up there were extremely high in comparison to what they are here in Anchorage, Alaska. But I was still able to do it for approximately $22 to $25 a day, even up in Nome, Alaska. That's doing a nomad every day, one steak per day. So I was eating one ribeye steak per day, and I did that for over 30 days while I was up there. That's when my whole diet, my whole physical health really fast forwarded while I was up there, because I was on a work trip. I didn't have any distractions with family. I didn't have a bunch of junk food hanging around the house. It was just me. I'd come home. I'd have about an hour or two to get cleaned up, do laundry, and go to bed. And in the meantime, yeah, I had just enough time to eat and clean up after that. But I was really able to focus really hard on my diet at that point. And man, a lot of things changed while I was up there. And it fast forwarded because of 30 days of ribeye steaks, eggs, and a little bit of butter and some bacon. That was pretty much all I had. That and reindeer sausage, yes. Oh my goodness. I have a little lady staring in the window, wanting my attention. Can you guys see the look on that cat's face right there? That's the lady I'm talking about. She is wanting in. Let's go. I'll cut you off a piece of fat. That's my cat, Molly. And Molly is the carnivore kitty of the house. And she is very demanding when it comes to fat. So whenever I cook a steak, she knows when I'm cooking steak. That means she's going to get a little treat. Right here. There you go, my girl. Actually, I'll give you two. She eats it fast. And she really craves the fat. Mainly the fat, not so much the meat. But that's what cats do naturally. Plus, she's hunted just about every single little small critter here in the neighborhood. Yeah, we're watching you, girl. You just tearing that up? That's delicious, huh? Who's my baby girl? You're my baby girl, huh? Daddy makes her happy with the little fat bites. So I'm actually sitting here right at the moment thinking really hard about when the last vegetable was that I had. A fruit that I had a couple days ago, I think, was a couple of bananas. But we haven't had a whole lot of fruit in here. Now, some avocados have run through here. I haven't eaten an avocado after that last time. I removed avocado for a while, and then I added it back in, and it made my mouth numb. There's something about an avocado. Avocados and raspberries that make my mouth go numb. And I don't know what it is. I did look it up. And there is something there that makes your mouth go numb. I don't know what it is and why. It's not necessarily an allergic reaction, but it is, if that makes sense. Yeah, no longer with the avocados, even though I loved them. I loved avocados. I'd be more apt to eat an orange than an avocado again. So here's the funny thing about being sick and drinking orange juice. There's so much sugar in most orange juices nowadays that you don't get the any vitamins or nutrition out of the orange. You don't get the vitamin C. You barely get the hydration because it's just so darn sugary. And I found out that with like a lot of these sugary drinks, anything with high fructose corn syrup, that the high fructose corn syrup, it just basically blocks the body's ability to have an immune system. And it also blocks the ability to absorb nutrients. So yeah, if you're eating a steak and drinking a Mountain Dew, it's kind of counterproductive to get the health benefits that's right here in front of you. So just drink a tall glass of water and enjoy your life instead of mixing and matching all kinds of funny drinks. Now, another thing I did when I was out camping is I had a couple beers while I was out. That was different, something I don't normally do. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel because I hadn't had a beer in so long, and I'm not a regular drinker anymore. And I don't have a problem with the occasional drink once in a while. Years ago, I used to be all the time, like every day, had to have a beer when I got home. And then I was always drinking on the weekends pretty heavily. Don't do that anymore. Getting too old for that nonsense, and there's too much drama at the bars. So if you're heavily salting your steak and you're drinking water while you're eating your steak, you're getting your electrolytes that way. You don't necessarily have to be taking a special electrolyte drink at that point. Now, if you were going to go all day like I do without eating, and you're only going to do an OMAD with only eating dinner at night, you're going to want to have some electrolytes before dinner time. Because we're going to be burning off electrolytes while we're at work. So I take electrolytes with me to work every day. But since I'm at home and I'm sick on the weekends, I don't have to make a special drink because mainly I've been in bed most of the day. I've been up and down. I did get a video completed, but yeah, we're just eating steak and drinking water and just trying to heal myself from the inside. And hopefully by tomorrow, which is Sunday, I'm going to feel a whole lot better. My cat, she's demanding more. So she's got this little routine where she just like sits up and she looks up around the table and scopes around. That's her signaling that, hey, I'm out. You need to reload my bowl. There you go. Yes, I love you. And I really don't like New York strip that much, but this came out perfectly in that air fryer. Every bite is juicy. It's got a nice crust on the outside. And of course, the treat goes to the puppy. This is my lumpy dog, Sadie. She's like 80-something years old in dog years. She's not going to be around too much longer. I think the only thing keeping this dog alive is the fact that she gets like all the leftovers when it comes to what we eat for meat. And then she'll get whatever's left over in the bottom of this pan right here. So she's getting a lot of beef tallow. And I'm pretty sure that's just about the only thing that keeps that poor dog all glued together. All right, something that I do like about this air fryer and the way this is, you can just pull this out and it's easily cleaned, and you give the rest of that to the dog when it cools off. And right now it's cool enough to that the dog can start picking at it if she wants to. But if you don't have a dog, it's a good idea to drain that off into a separate container. If you can filter it out with a piece of cheesecloth, it's very good, clean beef tallow, and you can reuse it. I do have different methods for cooking steak when it's thawed out. I kind of do it by feel now. It's kind of like one of those primal instinct kind of things. Who would have thought that would have been a thing? Because I was never a guy to cook steak in the past. I was actually kind of terrified to cook steak, and I'm not sure why. It's probably all of that sugar and lack of testosterone was most likely the case. But now I just don't have a problem cooking any meat, and I can usually tell, you know, when it's done, at least pretty close to the time frame where I want it to be done, just by touch, feel, and smell. You know, all these weird instincts that just come alive when you're doing stuff like the carnivore diet. It's kind of unique and interesting. I mean, there's so many weird things that happen when you're doing the carnivore diet, and you just get rid of all the bull crap and you stop believing the nonsense that the media's been trying to spew out there. Cereal is not good for us. It's not good for breakfast. Pancakes and syrup and waffles and all that yummy stuff that we used to eat before. It's just, yeah, forget it all. And when they give you a morning breakfast and it's the size of a platter like this big and it's 3/4 potatoes. That's too much potatoes. We don't need that much potatoes in our life. Even though the potatoes could be better if they would cook them like they used to. So I did find a problem when I was trying to go to restaurants for a little while. This is when I was eating potatoes. I'd ask for home fries, and I'd ask for home fries for a reason, because normally when you get home fries, or what used to be normal, it's not normal anymore, because now they just chop up potatoes and throw them in a deep fryer, and then they hand them to you, because I guess it's just too hard to chop up a potato and throw it on this, you know, griddle for a few minutes, put a little bit of butter on there. But that was the healthier version of potatoes, similar to McDonald's French fries before they added all the extra ingredients and started cooking it and like reuse seed oils like umpteen times. But yeah, they used to cook everything in like beef tallow, butter, just healthy animal fats like bacon grease. And that was a much healthier version of a potato back then. And it would do something to the starches in the potato, and it would like change whatever it is that turned into like instant sugar in our bloodstream. So that was when we could actually eat more, you know, potatoes. But since it had healthy fats, we didn't want to eat as much at that time. Now that it's full of seed oils, yeah, we got no problem eating 3/4 of a plate full of potatoes. Just one of those random things I wanted to toss out there before I close out today's video. And hey guys, I want everybody to be healthy, happy, and enjoy your life. And hopefully I get to see you next time. Let me know how your carnivore diet is going down in the comment section. Let me know if you're having any problems, struggles. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Nothing about life is easy. Sometimes we just need a hand trying to figure these things out. If I don't know the answer, chances are I know somebody in the community that might know that answer. So yeah, give me a shot. But all right, guys. Until next time, guys.